Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy. And I tell it like it is. Coming to you live to tape, 25 feet below the surface of the earth, here at Chaos Corner for another edition of this date in pro wrestling history, October 24th. I'll say that to say this because I tell it like it is. Kick back, relax. Thanks for stopping by. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, email me, inbox me, give me your thoughts on this date today in pro wrestling history. I can't thank you fans enough for being here from the bottom of my heart. First things first, big shout out and props and recognition to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, none of this would be possible. And of course, you the fans. Jesus Christ is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. Follow me on all social media platforms, especially the mothership here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. On X, aka Twitter, at Big Daddy G.O.C, and the G.O.C stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos. On Facebook, I have 2 accounts. That's right. There's 2. And I'm not Richard Nixon or Don King. J Brony, just like it sounds, J Brony. And Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian in honor of my heritage. Follow me on Gitter, Gab, Truth Social, Rumble, where I will be going live on Rumble very soon. You're not going to want to miss it, fans. Again, let's get down to brass tacks. It's going to be actually a beautiful week here in the greater New England tri-state northeast area in the shadows of Titan Towers. Come on back to YouTube, fans. As I said, thanks for being here. Kick back and relax. Remember, stay aware, situational awareness, head on a swivel. There's a lot of things going out there in today's world here in 2023. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to remind you. I'm here to give positivity, positive vibes, a little levity, a little stress relief, not only for me, but for you, the fans, as well. We're coming up on that 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers so we can go live on this one-man show, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. No Patreon, no paywalls, no Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, Super Chats, none of the above. You get you and me, the G.O.C, and that's what it's all about because it's free. And most of these episodes will be posted up on Instagram and on Facebook and on X so you guys can follow along. Tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us. So let me say this again. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. And always remember, there's 3 types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, and people like the G.O.C. Big Daddy that make things happen. We have a lot of news and notes today. I know I say that every program. Thanks for being here every day. And as I said, I will be doing this every day, time permitting, to get you this date in pro wrestling history. If not daily, then we'll try to do it weekly and cover the whole week. But I'm liking this daily thing, consistent content, growing the channel. And again, I'll say it because I repeat myself. That's what I do here on the channel. I repeat myself. Spread the word, like, subscribe. Let's get this thing going. I'm having a lot of fun. October 24th, 1974. The Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, defeats Paul Jones to win the NWA Mid-Atlantic TV title. October 24th, 1976. Alfonso Dantes defeats Carlos Plata to win the NWA World Light Heavyweight Championship. You guys know how I feel about this, with multiple champions, multiple world champions, multiple heavyweight champions, and all the different titles and just a few different companies. It really is egregious. It's outrageous. Can we break it up maybe into weight classes? Can we have one fucking world champion? One? And I know I've been cussing a lot lately. I don't mean to. I don't have to. But that's to my point. Go back and listen to these previous days, fans. You're not going to want to miss all this historical information. October 24th, 1979. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Jay Youngblood defeat Paul Jones and Baron Von Raschke to win the NWA Mid-Atlantic World Tag Team titles. October 24th, 1979. Let's stay in 79. Bobby Eaton, who would later be the part of the Midnight Express with Dennis Condrey and Stan Lane, and my old buddy Jim Cornette. That's right, Corny. And I know that you know, and you know that I know, and everyone else, that you're watching. I know a lot of non-subscribers and people don't hit the like button. Don't think that I don't know, because I can keep track. So I know that you know, and we all know that you're watching. Bobby Eaton, 1979, October 24th, defeats Dirty Dutch Mantel. Hey, Dutch, love your show as well, to win the NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. October 24th, let's fast forward to 1983. At that point, I'm a mere 21 years old. Let that marinate, considering this weekend I'll be the big 6-0. October 24th, 1983. Jimmy Garvin defeats Gentleman Chris Adams. You know what Bully Ray says. Refer to my comments about Bully Ray and what he said to me in the locker room. Give Big Daddy 5 spots, he'll fuck up 4. I consider that to be a damn compliment coming from Bully Ray. So 1983, October 24th, let me start this again. Jimmy Garvin, who went on to be part of the fabulous Freebirds, defeats Gentleman Chris Adams to win the World Class Championship Wrestling TV title. Say that 3 times fast. October 24th, 1988. Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, Dude Love, Mankind, whatever you want to call him, and Gary Young defeat superstar Bill Dundee and Todd Morton to win the vacant CWA Tag Team titles. October 24th, let's stay in 1989, in Okinawa, Japan. Konnichiwa, bitches. It's me, it's G.O.C.-san. Tiger G. Singh defeats Antonio Inoki to win the UWA World Heavyweight Championship. I don't want to bounce around too much here. I'd like to keep this in chronological order compared to yesterday's This Day in History. We were all over the place. You got to remember, and I've said this many, many times before about the G.O.C., my over 50 years as a fan, a scout, an agent, a historian, a smark, a mark. That's right, I said it, a fucking mark, like we all are, and all were. In my over 3+ decades in this business as a pro wrestling manager who took the bumps, unlike a lot of you out there in the IWC and pro wrestling fans who think you know what you're doing and what you're talking about. Okay, so you watched the product for 20, 30, 40 years. Or maybe you're a commentator or announcer. Or maybe you briefly went to wrestling school. But were you in official pro wrestling matches and taking the bumps? That's what I want to know. Then I'll give you some props. Not that I don't give the other guys props. There's a place for it in this podcast world, podcast life, or what I call here a reality TV show, because you're in my home. No green screens, no laptops, none of the bullshit. You get it here, raw dog, as I said. So when I say something, take it to the bank. Okay? Where was I? Okay. October 24th, 1988, the World Wrestling Federation at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. Demolition retained the WWF Tag Team titles against Michaels and Jannetty, the Rockers. A ripoff of the Rock and Roll Express, let's be honest. Also on that same card, October 24th, 1988, from the Garden, Randy Savage, the Macho Man, snap into a Slim Jim, retains the WWF World Heavyweight title by disqualification over the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. October 24th, 1993, WCW Halloween Havoc, seeing that we are on the precipice of Halloween coming up this weekend, in New Orleans, or from New Orleans, Louisiana, Big Van Vader, aka Leon the Bull Power White Vader, defeats Cactus Jack, Dude Love, Mankind, Mick Foley, all wrapped up into one in a Texas death match. Also, Knobs and Sags, the Nasty Boys, defeat Marcus Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpio to win the WCW Tag Team titles. October 24th, 1994, here on the Time Machine and Chaos Corner, the Moondogs defeat the Phantoms to win the USWA Tag Team titles. Let's make sure we don't bounce around too much here. October 24th, 1995. ECW's Hardcore TV. If I remember correctly, it was on the Madison Square Garden network around midnight after Roller Derby or the Trotters or something like that. Or back in the day when the WWF was on WWOR out of New York after Roller Derby and the Trotters before we came to the WWF in my youth. ECW's Hardcore TV, 1995. Raven and Stevie Richards defeat the Pitbulls to win the ECW World Tag Team titles. Let's see what else I have here, fans. October 24th, 1998, Cleveland, Ohio. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, Bully Ray now, defeat Rob Van Dam, that's right, RVD, Mr. Monday Night, the whole fucking show, and the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu to win the ECW Tag Team titles for the fourth time at that point in 1998. Now we know how many times the Dudley Boys went on to win the ECW Tag Team titles numerous times, and if I'm not mistaken, they are the only tag team in the world of professional wrestling to hold the WWF, WWE Tag Team titles, the ECW Tag Team titles, the WCW Tag Team titles, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe the New Japan Pro Wrestling Tag Team titles. Somebody correct me, Bueller, anyone? Because I know a lot of you McFlys out there come on in the comments and like to correct me, whether it was about Kerry Von Erich's last match or Bruiser Brody, Abdullah the Butcher, all the different things here that I've put out on the channel. Almost 2,500 videos coming up on damn near 400 to 500,000 views for what I do. Doesn't get better than that. And of course, the legendary stories that I've talked about here concerning my career in the series of tables matches with the Outcast Killers against Team 3D, aka the Dudley Boys, for the, as I said, the World NWA World Tag Team titles. Really was unbelievable matches with Bully and Devon. I'm forever thankful and grateful, even though I got my ass kicked. Thank God for Oman Tortuga and Diablo Santiago and having my back. Or who knows where I'd be right now. October 24th, 1999, WCW Halloween Havoc from Las Vegas. In a three-way bout, tag team bout, for the vacant WCW tag team titles, Harlem Heat, that's right, can you dig it, sucker? Harlem Heat win the WCW tag team titles for the third time, only to become 10-time tag team champions over Brian Knobbs and Hugh Morris, aka Bill DeMott, and the Filthy Animals, Billy Kidman and Conan. On that same card, October 24th, 1999, Halloween Havoc, Sting in one of the most controversial moments in pro wrestling, especially WCW. Sting, as Tony Schiavone would say, retains the WCW heavyweight title over Hulk Hogan, NWO Hulk Hogan, as Hogan laid down for the 3 count. Kind of like the finger poke of doom, if you know what I'm talking about. Sting wins it in 3 seconds as Hogan laid down. Remember that. Go back and watch 99 WCW Halloween Havoc. Also on this same card, Sid Vicious, a.k.a. Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, loses the WCW United States title to Goldberg due to stoppage by the ref. That was allegedly one of Sid's best bouts. I don't know how that could be against Goldberg, who had his moves. I loved the character back in the day. But let's face it, kind of like Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, big stars and big champions that really weren't that great technically in the ring. Not about telling the story or emotional investment, but just with ring psychology and moves. But give those guys credit because it's not about going over. Remember that. It's about getting over. Always remember that. Now, we stay on that same card on October 24th, 1999. The main event also on that card, Sting, because of the catastrophe that happened with Hogan earlier in the night, issues an open challenge, which is answered by, of all people, Goldberg. I just like saying Goldberg. I actually had a chance to work with Gilbert on a couple of events. Let that marinate. Talk about having a lot of fun when he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, Gilbert. Back to the October 24th, 1999. So Sting issues the open challenge after beating Hulk Hogan and when he laid down for 3 seconds. And Goldberg answers. Within a few minutes, Goldberg hits the spear, pins Sting, and is announced the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion when this open challenge was allegedly a non-title bout. Think about it. Think. So Sting obviously is pissed off. It was a non-title bout. Politics even in pro wrestling. So he gives the Stinger death drop to the referee. The very next night on Nitro, the belt is stripped from Sting, Goldberg, whoever. Your brother's, mother's, uncle's, sister's ass, whoever it was. And the heavyweight championship for WCW becomes vacant at that point, October 24th, into October 25th, 1999. Let's see what else we have here, fans. We have, as I said, a lot of news and notes that I definitely want to get to. I want to make sure that I don't miss anything here. Because you know how that can be. We have plenty of notes. Again, guys, thanks for being. Let me have a cup of Java. It's early Tuesday morning. Back into the time machine. Excuse me. There's no edit button. There's no cough button. October 24th, 1998. The NWA's 50th anniversary show in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Now, this was the NWA territories, not the NWA that we know, but we know that it was branched up into territories. And if you listen to the last couple of days, I've told you several of the NWA territories that I was fortunate enough to work for. But this is the 50th anniversary show in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, with my old buddy Dennis Corluzzo, the Brotherhood of Knuckles Nelson and Eric Sprasia, who are both in the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Joe Bruin's New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, along with yours truly in the class of 2019. You talk about all the Hall of Fames, whether it be Kali Alley Club, the IP International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, Thagos and Thez, the Pro Wrestling Museum. You talk about the TNA Hall of Fame, Impact Hall of Fame. there's so many Hall of Fames. Of course, the WWE Hall of Fame. But when it comes to locals who have more legends and stars from the big organizations, including the indies that you can think of, Joe Bruins, New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, been in existence for just about 2 decades now. It's one of the best in the country. Not to mention his Fan Fest that he throws. We just came out of Fan Fest 8 going into Fan Fest 9 in 2024. And of course, the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. I couldn't be more honored and grateful. And both these men from the Brotherhood, my brothers, Knuckles Nelson and Eric Sprazier, were at the NWA 50th anniversary show in a Four Corners match as they defeated the Border Patrol, Team Extreme, and Tully Blanchard and Dr. Tom Pritchard for the NWA Tag Team titles. Let that sink in. The Brotherhood, under NWA New England banner, with my old brother, my old one partial mentor at one point, along with Killer Kowalski, Mario Mancini, Tony Altamore, and many, many others. Killer Kowalski, rest in peace. NWA New England, of course, the Triple B, and that's not MJF and his title in AEW. That's the Boston Bad Boy, Tony Rumble. And his sidekick, my old brother, Bull Montana. Does it get better than that? Because I don't think it does. For the greater New England tri-state Northeast area, a staple, a hotbed that this area is. On that same card, on the 1998, October 24th, the NWA 50th anniversary, UFC Hall of Famer Dan the Beast Severn defends the NWA World Heavyweight title over Lord William Stephen Regal. How about that? Let's see what else we have here, fans. Again, thanks for being here. I can't thank you enough. I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're having an egg sandwich or a cup of coffee, cup of tea, some water, or whatever your fancy be. I think we covered a lot of the things that I wanted to cover. We still have a few more things. Don't go anywhere. I'm not finished yet. This date in pro wrestling history. October 24th, 2010. Bragging rights for the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, as I call it, WWF, from Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Nexus, you all remember the Nexus. David Otunga and John Cena, you could see him then, but you can't see him now, defeat the Dashing Ones, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. That's right. The American Nightmare and Drew McIntyre were the Dashing Ones back in 2010, almost 14 years ago. And John Cena was a part of the Nexus. Where'd David Otunga go? In great shape, but where is he now? They win the WWF, at that point, WWE Tag Team titles. So the Nexus over the Dashing Ones. How about that for history? I bet you fans out there with the brain of a dehydrated BB had no clue. And I'm not talking about my fans that are subscribed and like and watch and listen to this show. I'm talking about you people hiding in the weeds out there. You ones that say you don't watch. But again, I keep track, so I know who's watching. You had the brain of a turnbuckle. So let that sink in for history. On that same card, on October 24th, 2010, Kane retains the WWF World Heavyweight title over The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. Now, there was some interference in that by the Nexus, so let's remember that. Kane over The Undertaker. Jump back into the time machine. 2014, well, my bad, October 24th, 2015. All-Star tribute to the legendary announcer, Mr. Lance Russell, was held at the Oman Arena in Jacksonville, Tennessee. Now you talk about all-time great ring announcers, color, play-by-play. Gordon Soley, good old JR, Lance Russell. I mean, there really was a lot of guys back in my day. We'll even go back to the chicanery of Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan and Jesse the Body Ventura. Even Shivani was not bad back in the day. Even give Vince Jr. credit in the 70s into the 80s before he became who he is now. And I'm not here to judge anybody. Who am I? I pray for humanity. I may not like the situation or what's going on, but I pray for people. That's what I do. And that's what we're all supposed to do. You could be unhappy about what's going on in a situation, but pray for the innocent. Pray for the children. That's the most important thing. I say it all the time. You see where I'm coming from, and that's a shoot. So as I look back at and there's other announcers, obviously, that I'm missing. I could even throw in Bob Cotto and even that goon back in the day, Mark Lawrence, and different fans, Rod Trongard and Gary Marshall. I mean, just all the different guys that I grew up with, and when I was a young man, and then into being in the business myself. And you know that I do the current commentary from my home at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, along with Double T Talkin' Tommy. And Talkin' Tommy is on his way to the big time, now working minor league hockey for the Islanders, working for his alma mater, doing all sports, public address announcing, play-by-play, color commentary. Talkin' Tommy Sabin, Double T from Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, is the future of this business. Even an old dog like me can learn from a young guy like Double T Talkin' Tommy. Keep an eye out for that young man, because he will be everywhere sometime soon. It was an honor and privilege to even work with him at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, and we did our debuts together on Fight TV. That's right, the legendary Fight TV for the Paradise 4. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling owner in the WWF from 84 to 92. In the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. My former co-host on Mario and Chaos and Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast. Currently on Cheap Heat Productions with my old buddy Maurice. And that would be Mario Mancini. And then there is the head trainer at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Former Four Horsemen. Power and Glory. Pretty Wonderful. Young Stallions. And that would be Pretty Paul Roma. Also co-trainer at PAPW. Second generation grappler. Trained by his parents in his basement as a young boy. Cousin to the legendary Roberto Soto. As I said, second generation grappler. Mr. Paul Perez in the WWF as well in the late 80s into the early 90s. And then there's the silent man, the silent partner, the big man, Steve Tracy, a.k.a. Big Dave Paradise. Visit him at the Rib House. Go down and have a nice meal. Unbelievable place at the Rib House. And of course, Big Steve Tracy, Big Steve Bail Bonds. You're not going to get very far if he's looking for you. Trained by the legendary Dr. D. David Schultz, who I also had the opportunity to work for as a bounty hunter. Let that marinate in all the different connections. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling on all social media platforms. That's right. And go out and check out the movie with Lee Canalito, Sylvester Stallone, and Frankie the Thumper, a.k.a. Terry Funk. Paradise Alley, if you want to know what we're all about. Not only training young men and women in the world of pro wrestling, but mentoring young people as well so they can survive this crazy world. Let that marinate if you want to go smoke, put that in your pipe and smoke it, as I say all the time about Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling, if you want to become a professional wrestler and just overall to be a better person. Back into the time machine, October 24th, 2020. Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory, which now Impact, we just find out here in 2023, is now going back to TNA. Not tits and ass. Total nonstop action. Get your head out of the gutter. Ken Shamrock, the most dangerous man in the world, is inducted into the Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame by Dwayne The Rock Johnson. How about that? On that same card, Bound for Glory, October 24th, 2020, Su Yung wins the Knockouts title over Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuoso, who was the former Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Ladies Champion. Let that sink in about Deonna Purrazzo. On that same card, on October 24th, 2020, for Impact Wrestling, Rich Swann defeats Eric Young to win the Impact World title. How about that? Did I say how about that already? I think I did. Listen, we're at 30 minutes. I'm ready to wrap it up here. I have an interesting story that I probably should have talked about yesterday, but I'll talk about it today. Let me see what else I have here, fans. I don't have much. I'm just about ready to wrap it up. But I do want to give you today's birth dates. October 24th, 1971, Dale Torborg, who did obviously the Demon Kiss gimmick. October 24th, 1943, at 80 years old today, superstar Bill Dundee. October 24th, 1934, she would have been 89 today, and that would be Sapphire, who was the one-time valet for the late, great Dusty Rhodes. October 24th, 1986, happy birthday, El Fantasma. No me jodas, maricón, me te culo, de nada. Dame una bolsa plástica. I don't think I have one. No offense, man. It gave fame. It's a work, baby. Don't be so offended. October 24th, 1997, at only 26 years old, second-generation grappler, gonna be a big star, is a huge star already, and just got the rub from The Undertaker and John Cena. Braun Breaker, a.k.a. the son of Rick Steiner, his uncle Scott Steiner. Looks just like him, sounds just like him. He's only 26 years old, born in 1997 on this date in pro wrestling history. And after the rub from The Undertaker a few weeks back, Braun Breaker is just a natural. Keep your eyes on that gentleman. That young man is a beast. October 24th, today, happy birthday, Gary Sabaw. Sabaw, I think that's the way you say it. The Italian Stallion. No offense, man. The Italian Stallion is 66 years old. You notice how I speak Spanish, Polynesian, English, Italian? Did you know that about the G.O.C? Because that's me. That's the news and notes I have for October 24th, but I have an interesting story that I forgot to bring up yesterday, so I'm going to talk about it today. If you remember back in the day, 1984-85, I was still at an institution of higher learning, getting ready to go behind the walls a year later for 25 years. Vince Jr. was just coming in and taking over for Vince Sr., 1984, 1985. To combat Vince's vision and what he was going to do, or try to do, the writing was on the wall. This was pre-WrestleMania 1. Vern Gagne from the AWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, Jim Crockett from the NWA, and Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett from the CWA band together to try to combat Vince and the WWF. Here's the caveat. They run their first event where multiple champions from the AWA, NWA defend their world titles at Super Clash in Comiskey Park in Chicago. Over 21,000 fans showed up for that 1985, I believe that was 85, maybe 84, for the first event, which was that Super Clash. It was a great card at Comiskey. Same thing when they had it at the Metro Dome when they had Super Clash, another great card. And that was what they were trying to do to combat Vince. So those three organizations, AWA, NWA, CWA, with said promoters and owners, banded together to form Pro Wrestling USA. Do you guys remember this? Because I know if you were born in the last 30 years, you don't. But if you do your due diligence in history like I do, and research, you'll find out that this is the truth and this is what actually happened. Pro Wrestling USA around 84, 85. But on this date in pro wrestling history, October 23rd, which I know today's October 24th, so this was yesterday, Pro Wrestling USA came to WWF territory, hallowed grounds, Vince territory, here in the greater tri-state Northeast New England area, and the legendary New Haven Coliseum. That's right. Those promotions banded together for Pro Wrestling USA to combat Vince, and it wasn't the WWF in New Haven Coliseum, which was a stronghold at that time. It was Pro Wrestling USA at the New Haven Coliseum. Who remembers that? On that card, for the NWA World Tag Team titles, Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, defended and kept the titles against Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Shitota, the Russian Nightmare. How about that? Also on that card, in the main event, as if the Rock and Roll Express and Ivan and Nikita couldn't have been the main event. That certainly could have. On that card, in the New Haven Coliseum, Pro Wrestling USA, a combination of AWA, CWA, and NWA, to combat Vince, as I'm repeating again, Sergeant Slaughter, a former, and then once again, WWF legend, that's right, Sergeant Slaughter, defended and retained the AWA America's Heavyweight Championship against Boris Zukov. Talk about the head of a dumpster. On that night, on my way to the Coliseum, I saw Zukov. I saw his head on the side of the Boar's Head truck. No offense, Boars, I'm just saying. And also on that card in the New Haven Coliseum, which wasn't held by the WWF, they also brought in superstar Billy Graham. So I'll end this on that note. What a night it was, October 23rd. Even though we're here on the 24th, I wanted to update you guys some of the things that I might have missed at the New Haven Coliseum, Pro Wrestling USA. That's all I have for today, fans. I went a little longer than I would have liked. But again, thank you guys for being here. We are live. Live to tape. Fuck it, you guys get it. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Come on back for tomorrow's show when we go to October 25th. Don't go anywhere. I'm not finished yet. Enjoy the nature and the sounds here of Chaos Corner. I'm ready to sign off. Thanks for being here. God bless you all. Don't you dare miss it.